All right, hey everyone, and welcome to Dowcaster. I'm Tony, and I am being joined on the show by Don Kane, boss of the Metaverse Mafia, known as the Atlessio family. Today we're going to cover a couple things. One, Atlessio as a DAC, what they're about, and why they should potentially be your top option for joining a DAC in the Metaverse. And second, we'll dive into this NFT project. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Don.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on. I've been wanting to chat with you for a while, not necessarily having you on the show necessarily, but just to kind of get to know you because we've both been doing active in the Star Atlas space for a while.
Definitely. Yeah, today is, I guess today's my official first live video interview that I'm doing. Nobody's seen that. The main members have, but nobody in the community has seen it yet.
Now people know that you can grow a beard, which is, that's an important factor. They know that you're a Rangers fan, or
yep, they know I'm from Texas. I live in Dallas, Texas.
Nice, very cool. Well, it's good to have the official face reveal here.
Sure.
But if you've seen my videos, I don't like to waste time. I don't have a minute 45 long intro. So let's just dive into it.
Let's get into it.
First and foremost, before we get into who Don is, before we get into this, your involvement in all of this and the NFT project, tell us about Atlessio, this
Sure.
mafia corporation in the Metaverse.
The Metaverse Mafia, yeah, man. I came across Star Atlas, I think, in October. And when I read the white paper, this is what everyone says, when I read the white paper, I was sold immediately.
Of course.
I think I had always had this, this thought in the back of my head. Even when I first started working, when I was a kid, a teenager, I'd always had this thought in the back of my head that the second I can play video games and make the same amount of income that I can make at any other job, I'm quitting whatever I'm doing, and I'm doing that full time. And I've said this to my friends my whole life, right? But it's always just been something I said. And then I come across Star Atlas, I see that white paper, and I was like, that's it, we're going. 110 miles an hour, we're going.
Okay, cool. So when you said we're going, were you like, I'm just gonna dive into this game, I'm gonna become an expert, I'm gonna be really, really good at playing this game, or was your mind always set on, I know what a DAC is, I want to do it with this game? Did you kind of already know that?
So I had worked at a crypto hedge fund in 2019, and I actually still do. So I was a little bit familiar with DAOs, I was familiar with blockchain gaming, I was familiar with all the concepts, and I had a really good base and foundation in crypto research. But it didn't hit me until I read the Star Atlas white paper, right? Like the
potential, the opportunity.
It hit me. I was reading the thing and I was thinking of so many different popcorning thoughts in my head. I was like, oh, we could create this and we can have this and we can do this and that and this.
Those are the most exciting moments.
It was crazy, man. So I didn't actually immediately was like, ooh, Metaverse Mafia. I didn't, I spent a good 2-3 weeks, man, diving in, just kind of talking to people in the Discord. I was just really, really learning, all about Star Atlas, all about, the Metaverse and blockchain gaming. And then I realized that the way a lot of these are going to be set up, especially ones like Star Atlas where you have assets, where you have like NFT assets like the spaceships, where some of the top spaceships, they can be upwards $10 million, right, in value. Yeah. And that's just ineconomical for, the common man, right?
Yeah.
But come to find out, right, the idea is that not one person is going to be purchasing these things. Well, maybe they do, right? Maybe some whale comes in and buys one, right? But they're still going to have to operate it, right? They're still going to have a team of people to operate these things, right? So it's actually probably not a good investment for a single person.
Because then you have to fill it with NPCs. Or
exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I'm under the assumption that a spaceship like that, like a $10 million one, you're going to need real people.
100%.
Like you can probably fill I don't know the exact details, but you can probably fill some of the I
think you could do
roles.
some of them.
Yeah, you could probably do some of them with NPCs, but I'm gonna assume you're gonna need some leadership. You're gonna need you're gonna have to hire. I imagine for a $10 million spaceship, you're going to have to hire someone full time to run that.
Yeah, 100%.
That is their full time job. So, yeah.
Yeah, we covered in one of my videos, we covered how one of the future jobs will be an asset manager. And in fact, somebody actually already reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to run our assets? And I'm like, I mean, maybe. I'm very busy. I have a lot of kids. And, like, it's one of those, like, sounds fun, but I don't know. But yeah, I think you'll hire, for something like a Tree Arrow or a Titan, rather, you'll hire multiple people, I think.
For sure. Yeah,
okay.
It's interesting that you bring up asset managers. I think that's whenever I think about what a gaming guild should consist of. So like let's start with like the history of gaming guilds. The history of gaming guilds is people banding together in mostly MMORPGs like World of Warcraft, RuneScape, right? These type games. People banding together so that they could go on missions and get more loot. Right, but this loot is all in-game currency. It's not. You can't, take it to a DEX and cash out and actually feed your family with that. And that's kind of the key distinction with, how why blockchain gaming is going to be so revolutionary. Right, it's going to onboard a lot of people into crypto. But there's something distinctly different about a metaverse gaming guild than there is a regular gaming guild, and it's that because these metaverses are startups, you have to factor in what's called idiosyncratic risk, right? So it is a poor investment decision to put all of your eggs into one basket. And personally, I don't believe that there's going to be one metaverse take-all. I believe there's going to be many different. Now, granted, I believe that 99% of them are going to fail because that's the nature of startups. But I also believe there's going to be a lot of them that flourish, that become very large platforms, metaverse platforms for people to build on top of and play these video games. And so with that, I say all that to say, yes, you need that gaming strategy. You need that militaristic strategy for the in-game operations. But you also have to have a bifurcated structure of portfolio management as well, right? Like these two things are extremely important. You have to have a team of people that are doing due diligence on chain, right? What are the best metaverses to be in? How many people are playing these metaverses? Daily active users? Are people actually making good, consistent returns in some of these metaverses, right? So you have to have a full. It's almost like you have a hedge fund and a gaming guild combined, right? But they're both important. Both of those aspects of the guild are important. So I think we're going to see some crazy things come up in the future.
Yeah, I agree. And it sounds like you have, for people who are wondering which guild to join, sounds like you have a pretty good understanding of how, or rather, nobody can predict, but it sounds like you have a pretty good understanding of what's to come, which is cool.
I've put a lot of thought into it. And look, I'll be the first to say I'm no master, but every single day I learn. Every single day, I take what I see with a grain of salt, and I think really the best way to learn is to just jump into it, jump into the fire, learn as you go.
Speaking of which, jumping into the fire, while I do think you mean blockchain specifics because we all have to be jumping in because it's so new, it's so emerging. There's also something to be said about gaming guilds without the blockchain, right? Because you have to. It's going to be part hedge fund, part gaming guild. So are you looking at games like EVE Online and stuff like that to learn what people have done right and done wrong? Like how does past gaming guilds affect how you guys are building Atlessio?
Sure. Great question. There's the leader of a guild named Xcode, and his guild is Deep Profits. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with him.
He's been on the show.
Oh, I need to. I haven't seen that. I need to watch that.
He's great. Love to have him.
Awesome guy. If I was to be bullish on one guild other than Atlessio, it's Deep Profits. He's a smart guy. I like him a lot.
Cool.
He introduced me to this book about the history of EVE Online, right? And it basically walks you through when everything went absolutely crazy, right? Like
the casino wars and shit like that.
Yeah, different steps of how they got into this massive grand scale war where all like a bunch of guilds were decimated and some crazy political maneuvers were made. And I think that's important. Now I will say this. When it comes to at least my leadership style, I'm very open and honest about my strengths versus my weaknesses. And when it comes to militaristic strategy, I'm not the type of person to lead that. Now, where I do have a strength is in portfolio construction, research, basically like the asset management side. I actually, that's my background. I've worked at 4 different hedge funds, and like I said earlier, one of them was a crypto hedge fund that I actually still work at today.
Okay.
And so that's where I want to put my focus in, but I know that I need strong, like more so gaming strategy, militaristic strategy people on my team, and we do. We have a few of them that are really, really smart, have written like 10-page documents on just strategy alone, right? And I'm sitting here mind blown just at the different things that people think of whenever they come into these, these blockchain gaming spaces. It's crazy to me.
Cool. Okay. So to kind of touch on, to me, it sounds really, really attractive to join Atlessio based on what you just said, right? Like, I've made it very clear that I'm not going to join a guild because my goal is in communicating to, providing news, unbiased, things like that. But I want to talk a little more. I think you and I could talk about this all day. I just want to keep asking you questions about the blockchain mechanics and things. But I just have to ask this. This is one of the only ones I need to ask is why Mafia?
Why Mafia?
So switching gears a little bit. Didn't want to, but I want to ask this because we hail from a small island off of Naples. When I saw there was a Mafia guild, I was like, ears perked for sure.
I gotta check this out. Yeah, no, I feel it, man. I was going through a few. So here's what happened. Like I delved into the research. I realized very early on that you're gonna have to join a gaming guild if you want to be, successful in the metaverse, right?
Right.
And I realized early on when I was doing my research that a lot of these gaming guilds lacked something really, really, really important. And before I've used the word lore, which is important, but I think a better word to use is gamification, right? Okay. So something I say a lot is, would you, like, if you're going to go into a guild, would you rather be like because there's a lot of fruit guilds, like Avocado DAO and all these things.
Yeah, Banana DAO.
Would you rather? Well, I like what's going on at Banana DAO.
I do, but it's just the name.
Guys. It's funny. Right. It's funny, right? But I feel like, would you rather be an avocado or would you rather be a mob boss? Right? There's something to it, right? There's something to that gamification where it's like, you can tell your family, I'm a mob boss in the Atlessio family, and your brother's at Christmas, and he's like, oh, I'm a research analyst at Goldman Sachs or something.
Yeah.
Who has the more fun occupation here, right?
Yeah. In 3 years, I don't think you'll be telling people you're a hedge fund analyst. I think you'll be telling people that, you're a mob boss.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
Sure,
okay.
Sure.
I like that. Cool. Okay. So now that we kind of understand where Atlessio came from, how you came up with it, and we also know your mindset about what a gaming guild means, what it needs to be to succeed. There are there's a lot of gaming guilds coming up, specifically in the Star Atlas Metaverse.
Tons of them.
You mentioned Deep Profits. There's we know Final Frontier.
Yep.
We know Athea. We know all these ones that are coming up, and they seem to be pretty different. I'm just going to talk pretty transparently here. I have no loyalty, right?
Yeah. Go for it.
A lot of what I see is just blowing smoke. Don't get me wrong. There's like 11. I really narrowed them down last week. There's like 11 or 12 where I'm really impressed and excited. But there's others that I'm like, there's no difference between you and some bullshit NFT project that I'm just going to avoid.
Yep.
There's also ones that are like, wow, you're all marketing and nothing else. So what sets Atlessio apart other than the underlying mechanics of everything you just told us? What are some things that you haven't touched on in the last 10 minutes that you think sets Atlessio apart from other gaming guilds, specifically in the Star Atlas Metaverse?
Sure.
Sorry to just shit talk on a couple, but you know what I mean. I just
you're good.
Just fake business just really pisses me off. So
I feel it. And I do feel for those smaller guild leaders, right? They see the opportunity, right? They see Star Atlas and they want to make a name for themselves. And some of them are going to be successful, but unfortunately, a large majority, even the large ones, right? Even the established ones, because of how long it's going to take to get a fully developed product, even the established ones today are not going to be the established ones in the future.
I agree.
Right?
Yes.
In fact, this is going to sound ridiculous. I think 90% of the established ones today are not going to be the established ones in the future.
Interesting.
It may even be closer to 99%.
4 years is a long time to wait without having a revenue model. Well, a direct one from the game.
Yep. That's part of the reason why we have an NFT project too, is because we want to just go ahead and, get at least one side of it, like that portfolio management, get that started. And, we'll be set up to basically not fail as the space goes stale during a bear market.
Yeah, and you're not relying on it, of course, but there will be hopefully secondary sales and markets, and this hopefully, if you guys continue to prove that you're one of the ones to stay, then those become more valuable. Is that the idea as well?
Definitely. Yeah. People love, I think there's this degree of ethos that comes when you see that a guild was there from the very beginning, right? If they can continue to be successful, like the ones that are around, that are the ones that are established now, that are around in 4 or 5 years, are just going to have this grandfathered air to them, right? Like that.
Totally.
Oh, that's the Atlessio family.
They've got 4 years of knowledge, man.
Exactly. They've been
won.
Here since before there was even a game, before there was even
they
a
have
blockchain.
meta posters. Holy shit! Oh my god! Yeah.
Exactly.
Totally.
But there's a cycle to everything, right? There's going to be some that pop up 10 years from now that are going to take massive market share, right? That nobody even thought of. There's probably some kid in elementary school right now that's going to create a guild, right? And it's going to be one of the top guilds. But that's just the way things go.
There's going to be some really smart Star Citizen guilds that wait for the game to launch, right? We're in for a pretty big influx, I think. That's exciting.
Yeah, you had asked a question. What
sets you apart?
What sets us apart? I think we're so prepared. Like we talk about this all the time. We're so prepared for the staleness that's about to happen over the next 2 to 3 years, right? We got the sexy part. We got the video. We got the white paper. We got everything, and then Star Atlas particular. And this also transcends to other metaverses as well. I think the same development timeline is going to be needed, right? Even when you have games like I think Phantom Galaxies, which have like already have Unreal Engine developments, like. Well, they're not spending enough time on the blockchain. They're going to have critical,
they're going to run into stuff.
Security issues, right? Like, I think Star Atlas is doing it right by starting with the blockchain, right? That's the most important part. It doesn't matter if you have the best game on the planet. If someone logs in and they get all their funds stolen, you're done. Excuse me. Nobody's going to play the game. But yeah, I think what we are so prepared for, and this is something we talk about all the time, is the staleness, right? I keep using that word, staleness, of the next few years, right? Like we've got all the sexy stuff. We know what's coming, but it's going to take a long time. Yeah. And so we're ready for it, right? We're ready to wait our time, continue to build, continue to expand, right? This is another reason for the NFT project, is because Star Atlas is so far away, we need something to team build, right? Something to work on together, right? There's no reason why we just sit around and wait. We can build other things in anticipation that are also going to help us, and directly influence our ethos in the metaverse, right? So,
okay, so let's talk about this NFT project then.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Mob Machina, is that right?
Yeah. Mob Machina NFT, you got it right.
All right, so I told you I've been wanting to have you on for a while, and the kicker for me was that you're building a real NFT project, and I want to dive into what that means. It's not, you guys released it on Twitter. You released it in terms of you previewed it, you announced it to the world that it's happening. And from everything that you said, it's not a overfunded cash grab with like really shitty art for that people want to flip. I didn't hear a lot of big promises that you guys are gonna. You're not saying you're gonna send it to the moon. I literally send it to the moon, which you can do. It's really cool. Anyway, the way you talked about it made me want to have you on, because I don't want to cover NFT projects. Mm-hmm. But yours was the first one where I was like, oh, this feels like it has real value. So let's talk about it. I guess tell me about the project in your intro, and then we'll just go from there. I want to hear more details about it.
Yeah, let's do it. I love to start with the lore, right? To like give you an overview of why, because that's the foundation, right? The art itself is the foundation. That's what people visually see, right? And that's what the initial, like, that's the first thing you see. So let's dive into the lore. So, and
I'm gonna have if you guys are listening to the podcast version of this, I'll show it right now on the screen, so you can head to YouTube and check it out. But you guys will be watching it on the screen right now.
Right on. So yeah, let's delve into the lore. So we're Mafia themed. We covered that. These robots, right? They're mechs, right? That's what Jack's the artist, by the way. Jack Stone. He calls them mechs, right? And basically, I think he has his degree in 3D art or 3D game art, something like that.
Cool.
But he actually didn't use it for years, and he told me he had that, and he showed me like a little
Jack was part of your guild before, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was part of my guild before. He was trying to figure out how to become made. He was messaging me every single day. He wanted to become made. And for those listening who don't know what that means, made is essentially like the leadership position in the guild. And we were trying to figure out like where he would best fit in, like what could he best do. And then he tells me that. And I'm like, dude, if you would have told me that 2 weeks ago, I'd have made you made right then and there. And so he's been working on them for a few months now. The art, I mean, it's gone through so many iterations. Like it's so crazy. Maybe one day once we launch, like I'll put together if Jack approves, right?
Yeah.
I'll put together like the first iterations of what it looks like to where it is now. It's actually wildly insane, because you can see him getting better. You can see him evolving as an artist. It's the craziest thing
like
ever.
Shaking off the rust from his
man.
That's cool.
It's incredible. It's incredible. So yeah, the lore behind it, and we spent a lot of time on that, but it's important. The lore behind it is these are mechs. These are the Atlessio family mechs. They're sentient AI, very on par with our guild faction choice, a primary faction of Ooster, right?
Right.
And these mechs are the protectors of members in the Atlessio family. They're essentially bodyguards, right?
Okay.
And here's the beauty of it, is because they're 3D models, in the future, whenever Star Atlas has third-party development, whenever you can, make your own developments, we can actually bring these in and
they
make
can like
these things
stand at the doors of your ship. They can follow you around.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
I love that.
Hopefully one day we could even get game mechanics in it where, like, let's say you're an Atlessio family member and you're driving your Visas Hawambe to go get a bounty, and you have your mech with you. Like, ideally you'd be able to capture that ship and just send your mech on that ship to tie him up or restrain him or whatever. Right? Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's possible.
I mean,
that would be really, really cool.
To be honest, once Star Atlas hands over the reins to the polis holders, we can vote for that to be developed into the game. So absolutely.
That would be awesome, dude.
I love that.
That would be dope. That would be dope. But that's more dreaming, right? That's more dreaming. That's just kind of it's where my mind goes, right? I think of all the different possibilities. But if we come back down to the ground of what this is really going to be and mean for us over the course of the next few months and years, one thing I've noticed is I've been doing a lot of research on just NFT projects. And like we spoke before, there's so much just absolute bullshit out there. Like it's almost laughable. And it's funny because, I was big into crypto. I got into it in 2017, and that's when this ICO boom was going on. I don't remember. I don't know if you know much about that.
Briefly.
There were so many companies that were all marketing. They had no product. They didn't have blockchain developers, but they just use buzzwords like decentralized this, decentralized real estate, decentralized insurance. There are so many icons. And when you read the collateral, when you read the marketing material, you're like, oh my God, this is the next thing, right?
Yeah.
And there's a huge boom, and so many different coins made, founders millions and millions of dollars. But that's all it was. All it was marketing, right? There was no technology behind it. There was nothing that was actually being offered. It was all a promise, and there were a lot of scams. There were a lot of rug pulls, right? This NFT, everything that's happening in the NFT space right now is just history repeating itself. Sure. And it's going to repeat itself over and again and again and again in the future, right? But yeah, that's what a lot of these NFT projects are. They're marketing. And it's a little upsetting. It's a little unsettling to see some of the NFT community. All they want to see is a roadmap. Oh, you want to see text in a HTML and CSS on a website, and that's means for your investment?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a little unsettling when I see that.
Just to kind of butt in real quick, there was this project, and this is not me endorsing the project. This isn't me telling you should go look into it. This is just a project that happened, and it was the Bapes Clan. Did you see this one? Business Apes. It's like kind
Business Apes. It sounds familiar.
They kind of launched, and they're not NFT entrepreneurs. They're not blockchain experts. They are investors, and they wanted to create a investor NFT project. And so they created it with this, they kind of a loosely worded roadmap, basically a paragraph or two on their website that basically says, hey, buy the NFT, you'll be part of this investor group, and all the money we get from this NFT will invest in real companies, and then all of the profits will be brought back to the NFT thing. And whether they deliver on that promise or not, it's a really cool thing if it were to come true. But the NFT community, everyone in Discord was like, where's your white paper? Where's your light paper? We can't trust you until you have a white paper. We can't trust you until you do this. And it's like, well, okay, well, the whole team was doxxed, and they had a website up, and they had their LinkedIns on there, and they were very vocal about what they wanted to do. They had some ambassadors that I was really impressed with, but the only thing that these people cared about was getting a whitelist and seeing the white paper. And it's like, that just spells so much of what's wrong with this space right now, is that people are Discord grinding, right? They're trying to get these whitelist spots so that they can spend 0.1 ETH and flip it for 0.3 ETH, and I just had to vent about that.
I would say it's actually, I think it's actually good for the space, and the reason why is what's forming is a bubble. Maybe it's already popped for all we know, right?
Sure.
What's forming is a bubble, but these bubbles are actually healthy for cyclical economics, right? Like what's going to happen is all of these retail traders are going to get burned, right? The ones that aren't actually doing their research, they're going to get burned. They're going to learn a lesson, and one of two things is going to happen. Either A, they're just going to shoo off crypto and NFTs and never get back into it and tell their entire family members it's a scam for the rest of their lives. Or two, it's gonna cause them to really come back to the self, right? Come back and realize that you were letting your emotions, your greed get a hold of you, and you need to do more research whenever you're making a financial investment in something, right? Like this is your money. Right, and depending on your age, if you're young or if you hopefully you don't have a family and you're not putting your kids' college savings into these things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure some people are, right? Like I'm sure this is actually something that people do.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know a couple people who have done that, and it's like,
yeah.
I mean, anyway, that's besides the point.
Beside the point, yeah.
But this NFT project, the Mob Machina, is different. It's the main thing I want to drive home that you guys have said is, you don't have a bunch of VC money in this thing. So I want to hear you talk about like the NFT project and how you're building it, and obviously why it's different than all these scams that we've seen. Can you give us a little more detail into kind of mechanically how you built this NFT and how you want it to function and stuff like that?
Sure. Yeah, you touched on a good point. We're totally bootstrapped, right? We have no VC money. We have nobody pulling the strings, right? Nobody has the marionette, the mafia marionette, right? Nobody's we're pulling the strings. We're pulling the strings, right? But besides that, I think we look at the space, right? We're constantly looking at these different projects. We're constantly looking more so at what the people want. And now the people they're demanding utility, right? Before, people were happy with a piece of good looking art. They were happy with a piece of shitty looking art.
They were. Yep.
Right?
Sure
and
were.
Now they want utility. I don't know. Utility's a funny word, because I feel like there was 1 week when everyone was like, let's have utility. And then immediately they were just like, no, we want yield. We want APY. We want APR. We want money for our investment. And I'm like,
people understand that the bubble of shitty art and just shitty art popped, and they need something
exactly.
They need something to raise the value.
Exactly. So it's unfortunate, because when you attach some sort of something that mimics a dividend to an investment, well, all of a sudden you are a security, and you have to abide by the rule. If you're in the U.S., at least, you have to abide by the rules of the SEC, and that makes things much more complicated. And here's the thing too: when we think about startups, let's use Google as an example. What if Google, one day after launching, started paying dividends? Does that make sense to you? If Google, one day after launching, started paying dividends? That's what we're seeing with these projects. The second they launch, they are now having a yield. No, that's not the way it should be. The way it should be is they should reinvest their earnings. They should reinvest their earnings, because I'm under the not really assumption, it's probably proven. There's probably a data point out there that basically puts out what I'm about to say. But the idea is that an organization is going to be able to compound money more efficiently than a retail trader or a retail investor. Sure. Right? So they should take their earnings and they should reinvest it if they have plans for future long-term growth. The only way to do that is to reinvest your earnings. Right? You don't want to give out a dividend the first day you're it blows my mind. It
speaks to the goals of the people doing that.
It's short term.
They're not here for the long haul.
It's short term. It's short term. Yeah, it's all short term. And I hope, and maybe this is a duty of mine, is to help teach the NFT community that this is not what you want. You want a project that is going to reinvest in the project, because they will be able to compound that money, your investment, more effectively than you will yourself, right? But I have to put it in a way that doesn't hurt any egos, right? Because there are some people who made one trade, they made a 10,000x, and now they're a millionaire, right? And so they think they're master of the universe, right?
Sure.
But look, man, if people keep up that kind of ego, they're going to get burned eventually, right? You're not going to get a 10,000x every single time. In fact, you're going to get so confident that the next burn is going to be sooner than you think.
Sure. Okay.
So, did we touch on the utility at all? I think I got off on a tangent.
I think I basically, no. I mean, you answered what I wanted you to, is your mindset behind developing this NFT and what it's going to mean. And clearly this NFT is a long-term is a step in a long-term plan for
right. I guess I was explaining. Sorry, dude. Sometimes I just get off on a tangent.
No, that's what this. No, I'm here for it. You're fine.
I was explaining. What's wrong with the current projects. So, the way we want to do it is actually a really simple idea. And now the way we have to structure this is very unique, especially if we want to get listed on U.S. exchanges, right? Because we don't want to structure this like a hedge fund, but for all intents and purposes, it is very similar. And right now we're thinking of different ways, and I think we've just kind of actually today figured out how to structure it with strategic airdrops to where people are going to get a yield on this, a legitimate yield, not a yield of a shit coin, of a fake token that has no utility, that the only thing you can do with that token is sell it, right? Which is what's going on in most of the projects. But let's come back to base. So let me set the stage by saying a high level overview of what it is. 50% of all revenues are going to be put into a yield pool. That's what we're calling it. We've thought about like maybe like glorifying the name like Blood Pool or something like that. But I feel like when people's money are at stake, they want the real deal, right? They don't want you to beat around the bush, right? So yield pool. Blood Pool. Blood Pool. I don't know. And so that's 50% of revenue. So that's 50% of the entire mint, 50% of every post mint royalty transaction.
Everything. 50%.
Everything. 50% of everything goes into this pool. So by itself, it's constantly growing. But we don't stop just there. Right. What we're going to do then, because it would just be in Sol, and I mean what we could do is we could convert it to USDC so that it's stable, right, and it's not affected by the volatility of Solana. But instead of that, because we have expertise in certain like portfolio construction, investment management, all these things, the way we want to grow the yield pool apart from just the revenues is to use the gaming guild, the Atlessio family, to operate the yield pool, right? So what does this mean? It means that
reinvesting it, right? Sorry, you go.
I'm excited. No. You're good. You're really good. So for reinvestment is an interesting word, and like I said, we're trying to figure out how to structure this so it isn't a security, right?
Got it.
Because there is a way to do it, and essentially probably what it would look like on the back end. And this I'm not for sure, but I think this is the way it's going to look like on the back end. Is the yield pool would probably be some kind of LP, like a limited partnership, with the guild as a general partner. And then the general partner will take the yield pool and it will allocate it into like Star Atlas spaceships, Polis, different metaverses, diversified across different metaverses. But then we'd also operate it as well, right? So let's say we bought a I can't even think of the name of the ship. What's the beautiful one? The Ecus?
The Tree
Arrow. Oh man, beautiful ship, by the way. In the future,
so
like
much.
I know it's so gorgeous. In the future, it's not going to be as easy as staking, right? So right now, Star Atlas is a gamified staking platform. That's what it is. There's going to be a game eventually, but right now it's not a game.
Right.
Eventually, these ships are not going to be as easy as clicking 3 buttons and you've played the game, right? Eventually, there's going to be some real strategy that needs to be involved with it, and that's where the gaming guild comes in, right? Okay. So that's where operating these assets, these income-producing assets, is going to have a guild, right? You're going to have a guild to operate these things,
right?
So it kind of plays into our long-term vision, but that's really the high-level overview. I guess I forgot to mention like the what's in it for me, right? For the person that mints.
Sure, for people who mints it, yeah.
Once we have a DAO, what we'll do is we will have proposals that allow DAO members to vote on some sort of yield allocation. And now this is where it gets tough, right? Because we don't want to give dividends, but we need to figure out a way to give rewards. And I think we have figured it out. I don't want to say it just yet because I need to make
That's
sure
fine, yeah.
we've kind of been going back and forth on how to do this. It's going to involve some kind of airdrop, maybe an airdrop that we buy back or something like that with the yield pool. You got to get so creative, right?
Yep.
But it's because we want to do everything legally, right? We want to make sure this is all legal, all by the books.
Which is so weird of you, being a mob boss.
I know, right? It's not characteristic, right?
Or you're just telling me that it's legal.
Yeah. I'm saying it because I don't know if you're an SEC agent, right? I don't know if you're the
No, if I'm an SEC agent, I'm super busy this week. That's for sure.
I feel it. No. Well, we're the ethically renovated mafia. How about that?
Very good. Yeah. Okay. I'm curious. I wasn't going to ask you this, but with President Biden expected to make a statement about regulating crypto this week. Mm-hmm. This episode is coming out on Thursday, March 10th. We're recording this just on Tuesday, so just 2 days ago. Wow, that was trippy. Referring to right now is 2 days ago. He's going to make an announcement, we think, and then SEC and Ripple is still very active from what we know. Do all of this kind of factor into how you guys are formulating your plans and how to do all of this legally, because it could change, right? Like, how does that does that even come into play right now?
Yeah, it definitely does. I think the media likes to sensationalize things, right? So when I think of regulations, when I think of regulatory frameworks and how slow these things actually move. I mean, just a year or two ago, we had what's his name, Zuckerberg in front of Congress,
right?
And they didn't know what Facebook was, right? It was absolutely laughable because they were asking him questions, very baseline questions about how Facebook asked, and everybody watching this realizes, oh shit, we can't do anything to Zuckerberg because our representatives don't even know what is going on. Right? They have no expertise in this area. So how are they going to prosecute or whatever if there's a crime that's been committed? Right? Like, and I believe that's the same case with crypto. So a lot of the headlines I've been seeing are Bitcoin regulations. And I'm sitting here thinking, I haven't thought about Bitcoin in 4 years.
I know.
I forgot Bitcoin existed.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Well, that's you turn on news stations. All crypto is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. Yeah. So yeah, if we don't even have Bitcoin regulations yet, if Bitcoin is still real estate, imagine how long it's going to take for them to figure out about Ethereum.
Yeah.
I'm already on Solana,
let alone
NFTs.
Solana. Yeah.
Right? I'm in Metaverse, which is like 5 layers down the road. I think it's going to be a while before we get real regulations, and by then, I think if Atlessio and this NFT project that we're doing is successful, by then, if we have to move out of the U.S., we have to move out of the U.S. Right? Yeah. It's kind of just up to. I don't foresee
you're not going to be persecuted for things, or you're not going to be punished for things you already had in effect long before.
The only retroactive thing that would happen is taxes. That's the only retroactive. Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's what I'm asking. That makes sense. Okay, cool. All right. Well, man, I've learned a lot this hour. Thanks.
Definitely. Yeah, man, it was fun.
I do want to ask like one last question.
Mm-hmm.
This episode speaks for itself on why Atlessio is a super good guild to join. But in your words, why should someone be watching this consider joining Atlessio as their gaming guild?
It's a great question. I think it's because if they come into the Atlessio family, I might make them an offer they can't refuse.
I forgot my cotton balls. Damn it. Oh. I'm making an offer you can't refuse. Damn. Hell yeah. Well, that's good enough for me. Cool. All right. Well, Don, it was awesome. It was awesome having you on. Thank you so much for, of course, taking your time to come on to my show, to educating me and whoever's listening to this. Probably a lot of stuff we didn't know about the behind the scenes economics and business strategy of what it means to own and run a guild and start an NFT project. But overall, I just want to say thanks. This was fun.
Definitely. Yeah, man. And I know you haven't chosen a guild yet, but in the day that you do, when you do, because you will eventually.
I will. I have to.
I'd like to see Dowcaster rebranded to Dow Mobster.
If I join Atlessio, that's definitely in the cards for sure.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, you have a great day. I will. I'll talk with you another time, no doubt.
Definitely. Thank you for having me on, man.
You got it.